Got a good system going. Oh, hello. We are live. Hello, everybody. How are you all doing today? This is the Kendra and Jason live stream because that's the official title of it.
How creative.
And let's see who's in the chat so far. I'm going to hit all just in case we get spam. I can turn it off. Live chat. I think that's what we put on there. Remember to guard your privacy. All right, got it. Let's see who's here. Vivian is here. Hello, all. Cannot stay long, but wanted to say hi. Hey, Vivian. Good to see you. Tom's here. Hey, Tom. Hello, meow, and good meeting from Germany. How's it going over there, Tom? Let us know. If you haven't already, please let us know in the chat where you are living. Helena is here. Hello, everyone. Greetings from South Africa. Helene is back. So it's the same old folks, usually. I want to say old folks, the same familiar folks. As in Magdalena. Magdalena's here. Hello, everyone. Smiley face and a heart. How's everybody doing? So the way this will work, we're just hanging out, meeting people from around the world. So if you haven't already, please let us know in the chat where you are living. If you do have any questions, it could be about anything, you can ask Kendra. I'm just here to moderate. But it can be any kind of question about practice. Most of you know that Kendra is a Dharma teacher in the Quantum School of Zen. She's been practicing meditation. I don't even know how long. How long have you been practicing?
Almost 20 years.
Wow. That's a long time.
It is.
Wow. Tom, thanks, Jason. I'm fine. As always, yeah. So this is kind of a funny thing Tom has. Every time I ask him, how are you doing? Fine. That's how he answers. So I can't really tell with him. So what's happening? I was thinking about something. Oh, we have Penelope is here. Penelope's fairly recent. So hello there, Penelope from South Africa. We have a big South African group that always joins us on the streams, sometimes on Thursdays. Cesare, hello. Let's see what he's saying here. I am outside my country today. I will watch, but not writing, maybe. Well, you just wrote something. So there you go. Cesare, good to see you. What do you, I was going to ask you, but I guess you're not going to be typing. I was going to ask you, what are you doing outside your country? And what country are you in? And Tom, how's it going with everything? Tom's been helping with the refugees. Let's see. Yo-Ya's here. Yo-Ya, hello. Good to see you. Just had a chat with Yo-Ya a couple days ago. Hello, all. See, Cesare is asking. Okay. Tom's asking Cesare, where are you? In Italy, asking. Adam, hello, Kendra. Hello, Jason. Hello, everyone. Sorry, but today I cannot stay with you. I'll watch record later. Yeah. Adam is from. Are you driving today, Adam? Adam usually lives in Poland, but he drives a lot, so he's in many different places. The other day, Adam sent me a picture, I think on Facebook Messenger, and it showed his Dharma room, and it was inside of a van. Cool. So the van he was driving, he made a little sitting space inside of it. So it was really interesting. Awesome. Yeah.
Adam, that's great. We can make sitting spaces anywhere. And yeah. I love that you are just showing that. That's great.
Yeah, we were kind of like playing around with the idea of like him, he could do like a live stream, like the Dharma mobile. I forgot what was the names we were talking about. Something like the Dharma van, something I don't remember. But anyways, it was very good. All right, let's see who else is in the chat. Let's see. Sylvia's here. Hello, y'all, from Dallas. He doesn't have that accent, but I guess I just made him have that accent. Cesare, I'm in Italy, in Torino. Oh, by my fiance's parents. Wow. Good. Behave. Adam, not today. Today, I be in Poland with family. Wow. Seems like a family kind of day.
Mm-hmm.
maybe we should go back to our family. Oh, this is our Dharma family, so so that's also very important. Tom, a lot of work, Jason, but I like it. The guys are all extremely grateful and give back a lot of love. Awesome. Especially teaching them German is a lot of fun. We laugh a lot. Good. I'm glad you're able to do that, Tom. Very important. And I'm glad you can laugh too in this kind of situation. If you're just joining us, welcome to the Kendra and Jason live stream. We're just hanging out. It's an informal event. So if you do have any questions for Kendra or myself, it can be about practice, life, meditation, death, any kind of questions, okay? Kids, pets. Is Chicory there? You can see most of you know our dog Chicory. He appears. No, he's not there. He's
probably in the sun.
Oh, okay.
He likes to sit right outside our office in the sun.
Many of you know Chicory. He appears in a lot of the videos I make. I think you and I should make a video. Someone said that we should do one. Maybe it was Miles. I think Miles thought
our kid has nominated us for a video.
Yeah. I was thinking that we might do, I was thinking of doing a video like on our trip, but then I was like, nah, we don't want cameras, do we?
It's good to disconnect sometimes.
Right. So it's good to announce that Kendra and I will be going away next weekend for our 10-year anniversary, wedding anniversary, marriage anniversary. So we are leaving for 2 nights. So that would be, let's see, we switched it. So it's what? Saturday night, Sunday night. And we're going to the coast. So I was thinking, hey, it would be cool. That'd be a good time to do a video because we can film some kind of event. But then I was thinking, you know what?
No. I'm going to veto that one. Sorry, y'all.
So no kids, no parents, no video, no equipment, no nothing. Just us hanging out. So that's what I decided. That's okay with you. Okay. Let's see what we got. Vivian, watch the French elections. Wow, I've been hearing about that. Yeah, De Quangxin was telling us about that live. He's really, he kind of loves to watch what's happening in the world. Interesting to see how most of Western countries are going to the same tension between, right wing and fed up of current politics. We need Zen leaders. Jason? Yes. Can I help you? There's the leader right there. I never was into politics. I mean, not as much as like you were engaged more.
Politics are an interesting conversation in our house because Jason gives, I don't know, like kind of a Zen answer. Like you don't really pay as much attention to the political part of the conversation. You look at kind of
behind it.
Behind how can I help? I don't know. Sometimes that's a little bit of a tension, to be honest, because I don't think that all sides are wrong. I think some are more wrong than others, and that's my bias. And I should say not necessarily more wrong than others, but my doctorate was in politics, and so I follow and study politics. I've been less engaged lately as I've honed in more on kind of the education world, and I also care about politics and education. But that's a whole other conversation. Yes, Vivian, I also am following the politics and the rising of right-wing politics. It's a strong point of practice for me. I think that's all I can say about this right now.
Vivian is right. We definitely need, I guess, I interpret Zen leaders means actually leaders that care about people and not people they like or certain groups of people, like who actually are good human beings that care about people, because I think that influences our decisions no matter what we're in. Anyways, but yes, Vivian, Tom, who is looking after your kids right now? I think Chicory is.
Yeah. So this is one of the nice things, Tom, also about kids getting a little bit older. 2-3 years ago, we could not have both stepped away like this. Now our daughter is almost 6 and very independent. Our son is almost 10, also super independent and responsible. So right now, Miles is with our neighborhood kid crew. He's out playing with his friends, and Ella is inside, probably playing with her toys or maybe watching PBS cartoons.
Yeah, it can change very quickly in our household because just right before, like 5 minutes before the stream, Miles and Ella were both inside, and all of a sudden his friends, they just walk in the door. Do you notice that? They don't even knock. They just walk in. But anyway,
that's been a more recent development. Yeah.
So then I was like, "Whoa, Miles, what's up?" And he goes, he didn't even have he had his pajamas on still. He wasn't even dressed. So he got dressed, and then I told him to go outside with his friends. Because since there was no one inside or no parents or adults inside, that I told him to stay outside with his friends, and they can hang out for a couple hours. And then Ella, yeah, she was watching something on PBS or something like that.
Or maybe a Minecraft video.
Minecraft
is very popular in our home. And it's something both kids enjoy, which is kind of a nice thing to see them bonding like that.
That's true. They're very creative kids, and yeah, it's nice to see them feed off each other. So that's what's happening. And Chicory was inside, and now we don't know where he is. So, because that's the kid number 3, by the way. We've been
our perma toddler.
Yeah, Kendra and I have been noticing that. Yeah, he's like a toddler, and he's not growing out of the toddler phase.
And by like a toddler, specifically, we mean, well, like the kids were when they were toddlers, kind of follow mama around all day. If I go away, they wait by the door when it's time for me to come back. What else? He's just very sweet. Chicory's just very sweet. He just wants like food. He wants to play. He wants to be loved and petted and just hang out. So he's a very, very sweet dog. I'm sure you picked that up.
Definitely. I don't hear him whining. So right now, sometimes he'll whimper if he misses Kendra too much. So there you go, Tom. Cesare, let's ask. By the way, if you're just joining us, welcome to the Kendra and Jason live stream. We're just hanging out with some friends, Dharma friends from around the world. If you do have any questions about Zen, meditation, life, relationships, I guess, we might have something to say about that. You can ask in the chat. So that was Tom. Let's see, Cesare, let's ask a question. Favorite dish / food? Wow, that's a big question.
We care a lot about food in this household.
Right. We experiment with a lot of different things, but favorite, and then it also the favorites change.
Well, I will say the one dish that everyone in the family eats is enchiladas, and that's Jason's homemade recipe.
Yes. I'm very serious about enchiladas. Most kind of Mexican foods, I'm serious, because enchiladas were kind of almost a staple for us when we were kids. We had a lot of, being in the Central Valley, we ate a lot of Mexican food. Sometimes my mom would cook it. We would go out to eat. And then at my dad's shop where I worked, people would come with their carts, and they had homemade like burritos and tacos. Man, it was so good. I wish I had that here. But there was there's this place called El Toledo. So if you're ever in Fresno, California, Pinedale specifically, there's a Mexican restaurant called El Toledo, and they make just the best food I've ever had. And so one of the dishes that I liked there were enchiladas. That was my favorite dish growing up as a kid. And I always wanted to replicate it, to make it myself. So I spent years, or at least in my 20s, when I started cooking. Providence Zen Center, I tried many different recipes, nothing. We had one going on for a while. I don't know if you remember it, when we lived in Castlewood. It was good, but it wasn't. It was like the tofu enchiladas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't
freeze
good.
The tofu.
And, It wasn't until the Tess Kitchen book, I believe. Was that? Yeah, it was Tess Kitchen who had this recipe that when I made it, I was like, this is it. This is the best enchiladas I've ever had. So let's see. Yeah, you and I started eating it. Miles started eating it very young, and then Ella,
Mhm.
and that's how we decided if the paternity test was correct. It was a joke I was making for a lot of our friends
Mm.
because Ella was maybe when she could eat. I don't know when she started eating
Over a
solid,
year. Yeah.
but yeah, was around 1 year old. She ate these enchiladas and loved them right off the bat. We have a picture of hers. It's like it's all over her face. So it's like, oh, that's one dish that we all like because, yeah, the kids are particular in their type of food, and so are we. So sometimes
Mm.
we don't all get on board with.
Yeah, it can be hard to find a dish and food that we all like.
So I would say enchiladas, and I would say yesterday we had guacamole, and that would be another one of your favorites. So we're leaning towards, but then again, there's some Thai food dishes too we like.
Pad see ew.
Pad see ew, which we're making tonight.
Oh, good.
Pad see ew
Great.
I'm making tonight.
And
Which
then
also I think is the best. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
right?
no. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That pad see ew is, yeah, it's the best I've ever had. I haven't even had a restaurant that was so good.
And don't forget about pizza. Homemade pizza night.
Yeah.
That's where I shine. I shine on the pizza.
Homemade pizza, yeah. I was making homemade pizzas for a while, and then I don't know what happened. I just stopped, and then Kendra took it over, and now she makes the best pizza in the world. So if you want to come over for a meal, please do. And you have some options: pizza, pad see ew, and enchiladas. There's some other ones that we make, but those are probably the top three if you have to go in there. Let's go in order
who
here.
asked the food question?
That was Cesare.
Cesare. I bet you did not expect to get that extensive of a response about food.
Yeah, we're passionate about food, so that's what you get. We could probably cover this whole live stream talking about food, to be honest. So we'll move on. And if you're just joining us, welcome to the Kendra and Jason live stream. We're just hanging out, answering questions that you may have, which we do see in the chat. So we'll try to keep up. All right. Let's see. Silvio says happy anniversary. Thank you, Silvio. Yeah, 10 years. Yeah, we got married at the Empty Gate Zen Center in Berkeley, and Zen Master Bong Song officiated our wedding. And it was also a going away kind of gathering too, because we were at that time getting married, but also moving to the Providence Zen Center. What a whirlwind that was. And then, yeah, expecting Miles at some point too to come. Yeah, that was quite a,
momentous time.
Momentous time, right. And so we're going to celebrate that without the Zen Center in kids. Yeah, we noticed that it's really important to have, you've mentioned this, to have a good solid foundation, like, us being the foundation of the family. And like, if we're not together and solid, then that affects other aspects of the family and house and everything else. So we try to make it a priority to spend some time together, but not as much as this. I mean, this is great. We have 2 nights. We're going to be.
We haven't done this for a while.
Yeah, and by the way, Kendra's mom will be watching the kids, not Chicory. Just to let you know. Just in case you were wondering. All right, so let's see. Hold on. Yeah, we're okay. So Tom says, wonderful. Helena, when I think of a question, I realize how it's all just wordplay. Okay, it's all about experience in the moment. So I just listen and settle into the space of not thinking too much. Good. People respond to these streams in different ways. Some people actually don't want to say their name and, engage in the chat. They just want to listen. That's fine. Some people have questions and they want to ask. That's fine. So, yeah, I'm glad that you can settle. I hope you enjoy it. All right. Vivian, Kendra, your academic background is very interesting. Wow, you must have done some research. Well, I guess we've talked about it.
I just said something.
That's true. Does your Zen practice bring a conscious angle that affects your community? Do you see a difference in the way you handle things professionally? Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, great question. I am very grateful for my practice in my work and professional life. There's a lot of ways that practice affects how I show up in my professional life. I'll share 2 that most come to mind. The first one, so a little bit of background. I consider myself a lifelong learner. I am always learning and growing, and I also learn very well in kind of formal education type settings. So I went from an undergraduate to a master's to a master's to a doctorate. And then, I've continued taking periodic classes at community college and what have you. So one of the ways that and I think I heard Judy Reutman talk about this at one point, and she's a mathematics professor in Kansas, about how, so much of our practice is don't know and coming to that place of not knowing. I think that a similar type of mentality, or I don't know, muscle, is very helpful and useful in academic environments. And also, to be honest, if you're in a professional environment where you're doing, problem solving, where you're dealing with complex situations. It could be also like if you're a teacher working with your students, if you're a social worker, if you're an analyst, if you're, probably if you're, in marketing or user experience type stuff. But being able to come to a situation and actually be open to not knowing the answer and being able to be present to that. I think that's something that practice helps us learn to become familiar with and even to cultivate. And that's something that also helps in academia and I think in a lot of professions. So that's one very specific way that practice I've found influences or supports me in my professional life. And I think kind of related to that is also being able to just kind of deal with the people stuff better. Part of it may be personality, part of it may be also practice, is I do tend to show up, or at least I try to show up, and with that not knowing, but also with a sense of care. So like I'm really driven by care and I don't know, in service, actually, in my work, whether that's, in my kind of more formal academic, formal life is doing research that makes a difference in people's lives, to now being in more of an advocacy position and making sure that the work and the research and the kind of advocacy work and policy work that we're doing is also in service. So I think those are the two ways that practice shows up.
Yeah, good question, Vivian.
Yeah, great question. I hope that's helpful, Vivian. I appreciate the question.
Yeah, Vivian knows Judy very well. Stan and Judy, yes.
Oh, great. Great, yeah. So this would be, and I think also, to be honest, I feel like I heard a quote, maybe it was from Einstein or someone, kind of like a famous academic about, being willing to not know. And this is not something that you think of in academia. You think academia is all about knowing and knowing the answers. So that for me was a big aha, especially because I started my doctorate like fairly young and, had some insecurities and felt this sense of like, well, we should know all of the things. But moving to a place of being open to not knowing and realizing what a strength that was really actually helped me feel more authentic and settled into my role, my professional role.
Cool.
There you go. A little extra. What's next?
We have Bagel. I've seen Bagel make a comment on my YouTube channel, and I asked if he had cream cheese for that bagel. I can't remember what you said, but I really enjoyed your comment. But Bagel. Hey, what's up? I got COVID my second time. Bows to the virus and all those suffering with it. Yeah, sorry about that. I hope you're doing better. And eating a bagel. Cesare, where I live, there is not one Texan restaurant. Well, yeah. I'm sorry. I would imagine. I guess not. I thought there was more options for it. All right. I got to catch up with the chat because it's going fast. And if you're just joining us, welcome to the Kendra and Jason live stream. Just hanging out with some friends, some Dharma friends, getting to meet people around the world and answering any questions you may have about meditations and relationships, life, anything is okay if we can. We'll try to answer. All right. Yo-Ya, are you vegetarian? No. It kind of goes in and out. I would say mostly vegetarian just because our kids are vegetarian. And I think, for me, vegetarian came out of just living in the Zen center. It wasn't kind of a conscious choice. It was just a situation. So I got used to it, especially living in the Zen center for over 12 years. Um, I prefer it though, I have to say, overall. Um, I think I'm more vegetarian than I was before. I was experimenting with different diets, and now I'm trying. Uh, anyways, intermittent fasting, which is just pacing the food. But so no, if that's a direct question.
Yeah. And similarly, I mean, both Jason and I were vegetarian for about 15 or 20 years. I became vegetarian when I was 15 and stayed vegetarian basically until I was pregnant with Miles. When I traveled and lived abroad and was in context where that was what was served to me, I would graciously eat a meat dish. But I was vegetarian for the most part for about 15 years. And then, and then when I became pregnant, my body was just craving meat. And so I listened to that and started incorporating meat back into my diet. So it's moderate. We maybe eat meat like once a week.
Yeah.
But at home we cook almost entirely vegetarian.
Yeah, I prefer it, I would have to say, overall. I'm not sure why. Just it feels good. Silvio, kids question. What's a good age to introduce kids to meditation? Well, I'll let you know. We haven't really introduced it formally, I would say. I've talked about this in many of my live streams about what's behind meditation. Like when I talk to Miles, he's 9, most of you know Miles. We kind of talk about what's behind meditation, like being clear, perceiving people, and responding with love and compassion. Really not the technical aspects, even though we have introduced breathing exercises to both kids, mostly Miles I have. Like if he's feeling too much, if his energy's up, we do a breathing exercise to help him kind of balance his energy. Yeah, they don't do formal meditation though. You were going to say something about this?
Yeah, no, I forgot to tell you about something with Ella. It was hilarious. But
okay.
I'll
Let's hear
get there. No, I similarly, we haven't formally taught the kids meditation. I would say the best way to introduce kids to meditation is actually from birth on, but through your example.
Exactly.
I think that's actually the best way that
Yeah.
you show that kids can see the value and they can see you modeling, and not just formal meditation, like it's my time to sit for 20 minutes in the morning, but also seeing your ability and willingness to self-regulate. Like if you're upset, if you can model and take a moment to mom needs to calm down. I'm going to go, take a break, or going to go take some breaths. I think that is probably the best way to teach kids about meditation. And then, as Jason said, we also have, as the kids have gotten older, introduced some breathing exercises, and that's also like a really helpful way. And then I do yoga with the kids sometimes too. So kind of more active, and I think more kind of age appropriate
Right.
meditation practices.
Yeah. And I think it's like with most things, it's like if they know why we do meditation, then maybe they'll pick it up someday. Because, if you're telling them, oh, you should meditate, or we're going to meditate, when my parents did that, I just didn't want to do anything they told me to do.
Did they tell you to meditate?
No. I'm just talking about and other things, right? You just don't want to listen to your parents. But because now Miles knows why I do it. Because sometimes there will be a situation and I'll say, oh, that's why I do meditation, or that's why I teach meditation, just to let him know this is why I do it. Because someday, you can see as he's getting older, he's thinking a lot more, and also his ego is getting stronger. So I can tell that he's asking more questions kind of about it in some way. And again, like the bigger picture of it, he tells his friends that I'm a Zen master. Like he thinks it's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's getting the kind of the why do it, because I think that has to be clear. Then you're going to do it, because if you're not clear why you're doing it, either you won't do it or you'll start it and just stop doing it. So, but I think just being an example of what meditation is and what it means is more important to us, I think.
And I also want to clarify kind of a difference between formal sitting meditation practice and mindfulness. And I think there are a lot of ways to engage kids with mindfulness, and that's mindfulness, like mindful awareness of feelings, mindful awareness of their breath. So there are a lot of different anchors that we can use. This is something that I'm actually doing right now with some of the kids in the elementary school where I work. We're doing mindfulness practice with 4 to 6-year-olds who have been referred because they have a hard time focusing in class.
Mhm.
So I do really different types of mindfulness activities with them. We do like mindful playing with blocks. And, it's been a really helpful challenge for me to make sure that I'm being real with practice and connecting with them where they are, which I think is the most, it's important. It's rather than trying to teach them some version of mindfulness or some idea that I have about it. It's like connecting with them where they are. And that's an expression of that practice.
Yep.
What I wanted to tell you though before is that the other day, Ella was really having a hard time settling at night. And so I told her, I was like, Ella, I'm going to teach you a trick. She said, okay. And I had her, I forget what it was. I think it was just counting her breaths, or maybe I had her put her hands and it was the hot chocolate. It was putting her, you put your hands in the mudra, but you hold them like you're holding a cup of hot chocolate and you just breathe in and breathe out like you're cooling down a cup of hot chocolate. And the hot chocolate example is helpful for Ella because she loves sweets. So I thought she would connect to that.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
She did this maybe 5 times.
Uh-huh.
And then I kid you not, she just turned her head over and fell right to sleep.
Oh, wow. There you go.
I wasn't expecting that. I don't expect that will always be the case of like the calming effects. But again, that was a very thorough response to your question. But I love that question.
Yeah, they pick it up somehow too. Like Miles the other day said something about, he asked me a question about how I deal with thinking about something. Because he said he was thinking about something about his friend that could have happened. It didn't happen, but it could have happened. And so he was worried about, it could have happened and maybe his friend would have got hurt for some reason. So he was kind of worrying about it. And, but he said, he goes, oh, I did Kwansing Bolsa and I was able to go to sleep, and I was like, right. So that's meditation. We're not using the meditation to get rid of the feeling or the thinking, but just are able to not put all of our energy into it, right? You're putting your energy into something else. It's still there, but you're able to go to sleep, and then we say like digest that. So I thought that was interesting too. That's cool. It just comes up, so let's move on. If you're just joining us, wow, 22 people are here. Welcome to the Kendra and Jason live stream. We're just hanging out with some friends. If you have any questions about meditation, life, any kind of question, you can put it in the chat. We'll try to answer it if we can. Bagel says I'm vegan. Very good. So I guess my cream cheese, I guess they make vegan cream cheese. Hey, by the way, Test Kitchen has a cookbook, a vegan cookbook. It is super good. We've had it and we've made things that are really good. You probably don't remember this, but I made a nacho cheese dip with chips.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was made from cashews, I think, and some other things, but it's amazing. So if you are vegan and you're looking to expand your recipes, but also like really good ones, because a lot of vegetarian sometimes and vegan stuff's really bland. It doesn't have to be though. And so Test Kitchen really nailed it, I think. So it's called, I'm not sponsored by Test Kitchen, by the way.
No kickbacks, nothing.
So let you know, that's a good book if you're interested in that. All right, Tom. Whoops. Wow. All right, let's get back here. All right, Tom's talking to Cesare here. Neither, but my ex-girlfriend is Mexican. She's a great cook, but she's also an ex-girlfriend, so a Mexican food. I didn't think she was Mexican. She's the one who gave you the nickname, right? Chow Mao, or however you say that. Is that correct? Anyways, I don't. If it's too personal, we can talk about it later. Cesare, time to meet us at a restaurant along the way. Yeah, great idea. All right, Bagel. I am in my most fulfilling job ever, and it's a traditional care position, and it often feels down to how we can give together. That's great to hear. Great. Vivian, thanks for your response, Kendra. I wish I had done Zen in my years of university professor. There was so much criticism and ego stuff going on. It made me leave academia and go Walsh. So Zen Master De Kwang, sometimes he tells me this many of you know Zen Master De Kwang. He was my teacher. He's a teacher in the Quantum School of Zen. But he always would tell me, I wish I started practicing Zen earlier. He also was a professor. He has 2 PhDs, what most people don't know. And he was like, you're so lucky you're young. So I thought I was starting late. I started 25, maybe 25. But I don't think there's a good time to start, right? Because right now is the best time. But totally understand that. Wall Street. Okay. Vivian, it's the opposite over there. So much caring and smiles. Well, life goes on. Yep. Okay. Who else we have? Ellie Wint. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I'm sorry. Some of these are just YouTube names. That's all right. Oh, Eli. Yeah. Oh, Eli. I know Eli. Sorry, Eli. Hi, Kendra and Jason. I have a question about practice plus relationships. Jason, what was it like to start dating after being a monk for so long? Kendra, what was it like to start dating an ex-monk? Wow, that's a big question. What's funny is I didn't really think about it like that. This is my experience. You can talk about yours, because we just connected. We connected kind of like on a practice level, because Kendra, I don't know if you were at the last live stream, but we sat together in 2005. I think it was 3 or 4 days, for 5 days, can't remember. But it was a summer retreat at the Providence Zen Center. I was sitting the whole retreat. Kendra was sitting part. We were working together in the kitchen. And just like most people, you just connect with them. Like, you don't think monastic or layperson. You just connect with a human being. So let's see. Jason, so what was it like to start dating after being a monk? So, and also I have to say that I don't think I've ever dated. Now, I have an idea what that means. I've never done it, really. I haven't been in very many relationships, but dating to me is like you ask, somebody out and you go on a date, and then like this awkwardness, you're trying to get to know each other. I've never been in that kind of situation. It's always been, I connected with someone, became friends, and then that friendship developed into something else. So I would have to say that's how it happened with Kendra. Like, we were just good friends, and I was like, she's a great person, right? And I think my energy was there. I wasn't even thinking of monk or not monk until it started changing more, expanding kind of out of the friendship. Then I was like, oh. Then it's like, okay, got to make your relationship clear. We always talk about there's the inside experience and then there's an outside experience. So you have to make sure that they're not separate, I think. So yeah, it just felt natural, to be honest. I mean, as natural as practicing in the Dharma room, like, it just felt correct. I don't know if that's the right word either, but it just felt natural. That's all I have to say about that. And what about you, dating an ex-monk?
Yeah, also, I don't really think about it so much like that. I can think about kind of 2 ways that, I don't know, that I guess it shows up in our relationship, or maybe earlier on. No, I don't know. Actually, I think even to this day, the first one is, and I don't necessarily know that this is all monks, but this is something that I tied with Jason, was like that, that commitment to being of service, and that is in a way kind of the core of the monastic commitment. So that is a service to the Zen Center, of service to the community. And that also has been like being of service to the family and being of service in relationship. And like, it's a very caring way to approach a relationship. And not all guys come into relationships with that way. Well, not all girls do, not all people do, not to be all binary about it, but I think that was very refreshing to have that experience of connecting with someone and starting to be involved with someone who I didn't feel was like wanting something from me, or needing me to be a certain way. And I think that, again, I don't think that that's just unique to being monastic, or all monastics are necessarily kind of even have that orientation. There's nothing necessarily like super special about being monastic. But that is something that I think was unique to you and was something that was cultivated during your time in your monastic training.
Yeah. And I also chose to be a monk for different reasons, maybe than other monastics. I mean, every monastic has their own reasons. Some are trying to escape life. Some just have this natural karma of monastic. And I'm thinking of our new Zen master, by the way, in the Quantum School of Zen, Tong Wu, Zen master. He was Hei Tong Sanim. Some of you know. It's a very close Dharma brother of mine. And it was someone, very interesting to hang out with him because, like, he wasn't against relationships or anything like that. He just wasn't interested in them. He's like, his interest was practice and being at the Zen Center and helping and stuff. So I don't know. So there's that outside karma. Like, I never felt connected to the clothes and the lifestyle and that. So I was kind of, what we call freestyle monk. The spirit for me was like, all right, what could I do to really, practice and get that experience? And monastic life was seemed to be the right path. So you have to, make sure that like there's different types of monks or how they relate to being a monastic. I guess that's a better way of saying it. And I just didn't have that connection like I've seen some. Just to throw that out there. Anyways.
Yeah. And I'd say one other thing, just part of our, commitment to real talk here, is that one of the things that we've also, I think especially as we, got married, had a kid, and become like householders, like, I don't know, how do I say this? Part of being monastic is a pretty simple life. There's not a lot of extra. You don't run a house. You don't have a mortgage. You don't even really pay rent. Like, there are a lot of just kind of life stuff that one needs to navigate and manage as parents and as householders that, yeah. And I'd say that also, I came into our relationship basically having been a grad student for most of my adult life. So we were in a way kind of in a similar place of not having to, not having to deal with, well, I don't know, not having to hold as many kind of more substantial responsibilities of being a householder.
Right.
So I don't know. Is that diplomatic?
Definitely. It took us, we're still trying to figuring out how to manage that too. But we started late, this whole thing, I think.
Yeah. And I think another thing also is like kind of related to that is how to, I think it has helped that we have always had practice in common.
True.
And so there's an understanding and a shared commitment and support for that. And also, I think for Jason, I've seen this at least in our family life, of like figuring out how to continue, not just to practice for himself, because that's going to happen, but to keep Dharma in the center of your life and make opportunities to give back while also supporting a household, right? And being half of a working, to dual working parent household. So those are just some kind of like life logistic stuff, but it's less about, I don't know, it's not about the relationship. It's more of like how we go through life and
right.
which I guess is part of the relationship too, but.
Exactly. Good question, Eli.
Yeah.
Oh, Jess here. Hello. Sorry I'm late. It's okay. You're here now. And Tom saying hello to Jeff. Bagel. And home assistance with the middle age. Okay. I got a good foot on honey. We paint, go on walks. A year ago, wouldn't believe ya.
Yeah. Yeah. What a great practice in being present. Right. That's very, very cool.
All right. Well, chat's going fast, so we're going to try to catch up. Sorry for talking too much. Hold on. We got to back up here. Let's see. Hot chocolate really sounds good right now. Sure does. Magdalene and Kendra, do you practice yoga regularly? Do you have any favorite yoga teachers, or are you an experienced teacher? I'm sure you're an extraordinary yogi in any situation. She is a yoga teacher, by the way, just to throw that out there. She's talking about all the...
Yeah, I'm an inexperienced yoga teacher, an experienced yoga practitioner.
All right.
And yeah, last year I went through yoga teacher training. It's a gift to myself. I've been practicing yoga since I was a kid, sometimes more intensively than others. Yes, I will. Maybe I can post it on the comments later because I want to think about yoga teachers. The type of yoga that I practice is hatha yoga and the focus on accessibility and yoga for mental health and well-being. So there are definitely some great teachers, depending on your particular interests, that I would love to give a shout out to. One is Jessamine Stanley, who teaches yoga, kind of yoga for all bodies. She does not have like a typical yogi body, and she's very kind of attuned to that and really like reminding everyone that yoga does not have to be this. Yoga has a long and deep history of mindfulness and of actually also like access and social justice and service, in a way very similar to our Zen practice. That is not always how it shows up in modern life, especially urban modern life, where it tends to be inaccessible for a lot of folks. So long story short, Magdalena, I will post a few names maybe in the comments.
Sweet. John Sweets here. Hey, everyone. Just mention the Forks Over Knives cookbook if you're concerned about equal time. Oh, all right. Not sure what that means, but I'll check out Forks Over Time or Forks Over Knives. Sorry. Christy's here. Hi, Jason and Kendra. Happy Sunday. Hey, Christy. Very good to see you. Hop Chong. Tom at Jason. The one who gave me the nickname Chow Mao, little cat, right? Was the Italian ex-girlfriend. Sorry, very complicated international relationship history. You know, Tom, you're an honest man. Quantum Bosa. Baron has retracted his message. Okay, Baron, you can try again if you want. Tom, all right. Talking to John and Christy and Vivian. Sorry, I have to leave. It was very nice chatting with you, Jason and Kendra. Have a nice Sunday. Great here in Montreal and cool. Kongan soon with you, Jason. Okay, we'll book a one-on-one. I'll be ready. Some of you know I do one-on-one, so just go to my website if you want to meet. Christy, hi, Tom. Rainy Day Commenter. That's a great name. I love it. Good question. Is Zen practice is just awareness of thoughts, emotions, and actions? If you watch my live streams or watch my videos, I'm going to sum it into two sentences. What's happening right now in this moment and how can I help? That's it. So yes, you are aware of your thoughts, emotions, but I'm also aware of these birds chirping right now. Kendra sitting next to me, right? You're aware of everything. So when Kendra mentioned about Zen and mindfulness, actually the way we practice Zen is mindfulness because you're aware of everything that's happening right now in this moment. And that's different in every moment because right now I hear the birds chirping again. Now I'm reading your question again. Now I'm taking a breath. And I have like gas bubbles in my chest for some reason. It's all just truth, right? So once we perceive that truth, how do we respond? So yes, it is, but mostly it's understanding ourselves and using that to help the world. That's really the bone of Zen and also Buddhist practice. Sylvia, Tom, that sounds Chinese. That's what I thought too. I thought that was your Dharma name. It is his Dharma name. Little kitten. I love it. Right. John's talking to Tom. Rainy day commentary. Question 2. How long do you recommend to meditate on a daily basis? 24 hours a day. Okay. If you're talking about formal meditation, meaning sitting meditation, because remember, meditation means how do you keep your mind right now? So that means what's happening right now and how do you respond? So there's sitting meditation, driving meditation. Right now we're talking meditation and chatting meditation, eating meditation, many different types. So if you're talking about formal meditation, just whatever makes sense for your situation. So if someone's just beginning to practice meditation, I always say, start at least 10 minutes a day. Doing 10 minutes a day is better than doing 2 hours twice a week. And what I mean by better, it just reminds you to continue the meditation once you get off the cushion. So you sit for 10 minutes, then continue meditating. That means what's happening right now and how can I respond? So yeah, start with 10 minutes a day, then build it up to 20. Most people, like the school I practice in, practice for like 30 minutes a day. Some people have a different situation where they can practice morning and evening. If your situation allows that, do it. But I know a lot of people they just, what's the word, bite off more than they can chew.
Yeah, just start with what you can do.
Yeah.
If that's 5 minutes in the morning before your shower, do that and make that commitment and try it for a week.
Yeah.
See if you can do that for a week. And see if you can do it the next week.
Yeah, and then just keep doing it. That's really important because most people don't see the connection between everyday life and meditation. Should be no separation. And that's really the point. So that means this moment, what's happening right now? Are you aware and clear of what's happening? And how do you respond with love and compassion? All right. Baron's here. Hey, Baron, good to see you. Hi, Kendra and Jason. I'm in Australia. It's great to have you, Kendra, on as I practice with my girlfriend. So you're adding a bit of a couples dimension to your teaching, which really helps. Thank you. Good. I'm glad. Good to see you, Baron. Thank you for your comment. Yo-ya, I'm so enjoying this, but have to go. Great seeing you guys. Have a great day. See you, Yo-ya. See you in the internet world. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right. Magdalena, hello, Australia. I have a nice family in Perth. Okay. Tom, silly. Yes, Chinese. Jiao means little. Mao, I'm probably butchering that, means cat. Okay. So
butcher the cat.
Don't butcher the cat. No, I get it. John's too sharp. Cesare, all right. Talking to Tom. Okay, good. Tom's talking to Cesare. That's why I love these streams, is that the community. It's just not us yapping here. There's people like connecting and bonding and inspiring each other. And I really appreciate that. I love to see it. So keep going. All right. So Tom and Cesare are talking. Sylvia's talking to Tom. Cesare is talking to Tom. Magdalena, thank you for your answer, Kendra. You are great. I was going to put so
Thanks,
great,
man.
but that's my. You are so great. But
Thanks,
you are
Magdalena.
good. Yes.
Thank you.
Hey, Mark's here. Hey, Mark. Good to see you. Hi. I like to see Mark from time to time. Tom's talking to Sylvia. Good. Guided by sunshine. Have you found Buddhism helps you in your marriage?
Yes. But I would also ask you, what is Buddhism?
That's a good point.
If Buddhism, you mean having a practice that helps kind of ground and calm and presence you, yes. If you mean having a sense of kind of service and direction of how can I help, then yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I think last stream that you and I did, we talked about our vows. So if you're familiar with the Eightfold Path, our vows are vowels. I'm just thinking vowels. Have my trouble with English. Is based on that, and it's really something. It's funny, not funny, but interesting because, as you know, our anniversary is coming up. Actually, it's on the 28th, so it's in 4 days. We're going to celebrate it a little bit after that. But every year we read over these vows, and yeah, I think it's a good guide. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I found him. Thank you.
Yeah, so let Kendra read them, because I think this is what helps our marriage. So, like Kendra mentioned, what do you mean by Buddhism, or even saying Zen? But like, what's the direction? What's our intention? And what's the effort we need, right? So we have the effort and the intention. I think that's really important. So
yeah,
Kendra will read them.
Here you go. We vow in our married life together to continually let go of our preconceived views of each other and see each other clearly. We vow to let go of feelings that arise from selfish desires, attachments, and fears so that we can open our hearts to one another.
Very good. So hard to do all of these, but they're important.
We vow to be compassionate with one another and with all beings. We vow to refrain from speaking harshly or deceptively to each other or about each other to others. We vow to practice peaceful and ethical occupations and to support each other in our work. We vow to support one another in creating a compassionate and loving home. We vow to always be mindful of each other and not hold on to our ideas and beliefs so that we can see each other more clearly. We vow to support each other while we walk the Bodhisattva path together.
I mean, these are great. I mean, they're very difficult to do, but it's like, I think, like if I perceive some difficulty in the relationship or something that's happening at that time, you can always go back to these, right?
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of the time I'm holding something. I'm holding a view that's not clear. I mean, I could just go down the house and see usually what I see. So it's like, it always helps me if I'm having a difficult time is to look at these and then, like I said, put effort into living the vows, not just reciting them. And that really, I think, helps, or yeah, I think it's been helpful for us.
Yeah. I mean, the first one is probably the biggest in a way, or like the most all-encompassing, which is, we vow to continually let go of our preconceived views of each other and see each other clearly. Like,
yeah.
Boom. Right?
Yeah. That's it's actually, if you look at the
Eightfold Path.
So many numbers, the 4 great vows, right? Delusions are endless. We vow to cut through them all, which is sort of similar, like, because in every moment there's some delusion that we create. That's just the way the human condition is. So our job is to kind of pierce through it or see through it so we can see it clearly. And that's what that's pointing to. And that's really, I think that's the most important one. And difficult to do. And it's a moment to moment thing, right? It's not like, all right, today I'm going, no, it's like, even right now, how could I do that? It's really, it's powerful.
Yeah. And when we've gone through, like, I'd say now we're pretty solid, but we've gone through some times where we've both been under more stress and like had more friction in terms of what we were both like wanting or needing, or how we were, I don't know, supporting each other, or I don't know. There's periods of more stress, basically. And I found that coming back to this was really important. A reminder of like, okay, I think Jason's doing this or acting this way, and it means X, Y, and Z. But really, I don't know. And being able and willing to kind of catch myself when that's happening and see you and be open to seeing like, well, do I really know? I don't know. What is going on?
Right.
And, that has always helped us come back together and have like a real conversation, especially when we've like have conflicting ideas or conflicting experiences, or when emotions come up.
Yeah. And it can take a while too. Like, it's just not, okay, I'm going to let go and see through this. Like sometimes it can take a few days or longer. But these are, I think, really important. All right, let's get through this since time is shrinking. 2 more minutes. Eli, thanks for your response. I have the same lucky karma. I've never had to date either. I loved your thoughts about the deeper meaning of monastic life, helping rather than wanting something. Totally. Enzo, 4K. All right, love 4K. Hi, Jason. I have a question for you. Or I have a question. All right, just let us know what it is. Guided by Sunshine, that was amazing. Thank you. Oh, that was for the vows. Christy, thank you for sharing your vows. You're welcome. Tom, it seems to me the vows are not some empty words in your case, but that you really live them, fill them with content and actions. Of course, the live stream is not representative, but that's what I see.
We try.
We try.
We really do.
We say try for 10,000 years nonstop. That's a saying by Zen Master Sung Sung. But that just means try every moment, because you're never off the hook. It's always like, I'm going to get to the state and everything's great. And that's when you slip, right? It's like she said, we're solid right now, but what about now, this moment? It's like, it's easy to get in that good situation. We always say a good situation is bad situation because you fall asleep. Oh, everything's good. So now I don't have to pay attention to you. No, every moment, like, what is this? What's going on here? So I think you're right about that. Magdalena, wonderful vows, definitely. Helena, how can one deal with extreme negativity when everything you say, offer, or do is not accepted or good enough? Just being there to listen doesn't help, because then it is seen as not caring. Yeah, that's very tough. I would say, first, we have to really see our own karma clearly So that means seeing our suffering clearly. And I always talk about digesting. I'm using that word a lot lately because I think it's a fascinating word, right? Because when you think of digesting, you eat food, it gets digested and turned to energy. So if we digest our emotions and feelings first, right, that gets digested and turns into energy and wisdom. Because usually we want to get rid of the things that are not comfortable. We want to keep the stuff that feels good. That's how a lot of people meditate, by the way, too, and live their lives. So first, we have to digest our own, we say karma. So that means all of that stuff. Then when somebody you're dealing with is negative, then you see suffering, right? We're in a place that, oh my gosh, this person's suffering. And then you have a more opportunity to do something, whatever that is, because there's obviously no formula. It always depends on what is the situation, what is your relationship with that person in that situation, then the response can be clear. So there's no formula. But if we're finding that we don't know what to do, yeah, maybe stepping back and, like I said, digesting it may be the best thing to do. Like I said, there's no formula. That's why we really have to first trust ourselves, digest our own suffering, then we can do something. I know when I was practicing, I wasn't capable of helping people when I first started practicing. So I said, I'm going to focus just on practice and digest my own stuff because I was controlled by my own anger and fears and all of these things. So yeah, sometimes we get in this, I call it the bodhisattva trap. Like we want to help everybody, but if we're not have the capacity to do it, we end up causing more suffering for ourselves and for others, right? So we got to be honest first with ourselves, digest our own stuff. Then it's possible. I'm not saying it always works out the way we want to, because sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes we have to do something that's very uncomfortable to help somebody. So I don't know, like specifically what you're talking about, but that's how we approach it. It's like, wow, this person's also suffering, and you know it because you also suffer, so you have that experience. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So to give an example, right? Like it's not formulaic. There have been times when what the response when I've had a similar type of situation, sometimes my response is to leave the room, give the person time to deal with that situation on their own. Sometimes it's been to come over and give a little shoulder rub, like, oh, honey, sometimes it's like,
hey, wake up.
The kids need you. Get out there. Help me with the kitchen. It's a mess. So it's really, I think, just to make it super concrete, yeah.
That's true. Yeah, it's always changing. Like we really don't know what to do. That's why Kendra mentioned this don't know mind. If we keep that mind, then we'll know what to do. I don't know if that makes sense because you're connecting to what's actually happening rather than maybe an idea you may have about the situation or the person. But if you can keep open, then the correct action will appear. And sometimes it's, hey, wake up. Sometimes it's, well, I'm sorry, give them a hug. Sometimes it's give them space. It's like there's no formula. And that's why in Zen tradition, we practice with koans because you don't know what to do. It doesn't make any sense. But if you look at life, it also doesn't make any sense, really. And so it's like we got to trust something else and really trusting our intuition. If we don't have that connection or the faith in that, then we need to focus on our practice. All right. So Kwanzaa Basa. All right. Yeah. All right. We got a last question here from Enzo 4K. Jason, is happiness possible in this wonderful world? Sorry, I read that too fast. In this world full of challenge and difficulties.
Someone just hear some dog noises outside.
I heard someone
yelling.
But it's not our dog, is it?
No, and I don't think it's our kids.
It's hard to tell what's going on, right? Anyways, I don't know what happiness means, because usually if we think of what happiness means that you feel good and everything's joyful, but that's not reality. Sometimes we feel good, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we have anger, sometimes we have peace. Sometimes we have a lot of energy, sometimes we're tired, right? So to me, true happiness means being able to be intimate with whatever's appearing. Right now it's a kiss, which is good, right? That feels good. but sometimes I don't feel good. And just being with that to me is true happiness. Because I think when I read this, I talked about this earlier. Was it today? Well, I had interviews today. That's right. I was talking with somebody, and we were talking about big suffering, right? When we first start practicing, or at least in my experience, I wanted to take away my suffering. I didn't care about too much what was going on in the world, right? I'm suffering. I want to take it away. But once I started getting clear with my own suffering or own dissatisfactions, right? Then I started seeing the world more clearly. Then when I started looking out, I was like, holy shit, this whole world is suffering. And now it's like, it's always like that. Like there's always sadness. So we have a line in the morning bell chant that says, day ja, day be, which means great love, great sadness. So actually, when we wake up and see the world as it is, we're sad. Or at least I am. And I know many people are. So when I think of happiness, I'm just thinking about, okay, sadness is there and it's okay. So what can I do with that sadness? Or what can I do with what I'm seeing? Does that make sense? I know you give a thumbs up, so hopefully that makes some sense. But yeah, it's not a thing, because again, if we're chasing after a certain experience, then we're going to be dissatisfied. Just the way it is. We can talk more about it later, but I just want to kind of get through the chat because we have to go and check on the kids and everything else. Helena, thank you so much, Jason and Kendra, for your advice. All right, Helena's talking about John. Thank you, Jason and Kendra. Remember, April showers and sneezes bring me flowers. Kendra can relate to the sneezes part. Trixie Cat, good to see you, Trixie. Wonderful stream. I enjoyed listening to you and Kendra. Great. Tom, thanks everyone. Greetings to kids and Chico, Kendra, Jason, be well. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Such a wonderful group of people. Yeah, we decided to do this currently like every other month. You know, as long as we can. If you're benefiting from it and it's helping you, then we'll keep doing them. Okay, sound good? All right.
Bye-bye, everyone.
See you all soon.